There comes a point in your transformation when you begin to notice a different kind of voice inside you. A voice that doesn't sound like the one you've carried through most of your life. It isn't louder, it isn't forceful, it isn't dramatic, but it feels unmistakably new. It arrives quietly, as if it were always there beneath the noise, waiting for the right moment to be heard. You sense it first in the in-between spaces of your day, in the pauses where you are not rushing, not performing, not trying to be anything. You begin to feel a steadiness that has no source you can identify, a clarity that doesn't come from thinking harder, but from something deeper rising to the surface. At first, this new sense of direction feels foreign, as if it doesn't belong to you. Yet you recognize it in a strange and undeniable way. The way you sometimes recognize a truth you've forgotten, but instantly remember when you see it again. This new inner voice doesn't push you away from the life you know. It gently guides you toward the life you've been trying to reach without realizing it. It speaks in subtle impulses, in small shifts, in quiet preferences you used to overlook. It is patient. It does not rush. It simply waits for you to notice that you are changing from the inside out. And you begin to realize that you are no longer making decisions from fear or habit or old patterns. You start responding from a place that feels more grounded, more aligned, more deeply connected to the person you are becoming. You sense yourself stepping back from things you once clung to, not because you are forcing yourself to let go, but because they simply don't match who you are anymore. And you feel yourself moving toward things that once felt distant or impossible, not with urgency or desperation, but with a gentle certainty that surprises you. You're not trying to transform, you're allowing the transformation to happen, and that changes everything. As this new voice grows clearer, you start noticing all the places in your life where the old voice once dominated, the voice shaped by fear, by survival, by memories you've outgrown, by stories you no longer believe. You hear its echoes, but they no longer pull you in the same direction. The old identity begins to loosen its grip, not through force, but through irrelevance. You're not fighting the old self. You're simply moving beyond it. You begin recognizing the patterns you used to follow automatically, the reactions that once rose without thought, the tendencies that shaped your behavior, the assumptions that guided your choices. And instead of feeling trapped inside them, you feel separate from them, as if you're observing someone you used to know. There is no judgment in this separation, only clarity. You're not disappointed in who you were. You're simply aware that you are no longer that person. You begin to see how many decisions you once made from fear of disappointing others, or from trying to protect an identity you didn't truly resonate with. you begin to sense how much of your past was shaped by a self that was doing the best it could with limited understanding. And in that awareness, a soft compassion emerges. You stop trying to fix yourself. You stop trying to prove yourself. You begin to trust the unfolding. You begin to trust the version of you that is rising quietly from within. The voice of your new self doesn't shout over the old identity. It simply speaks a little more clearly each day until you no longer confuse the two. You start feeling a shift in your decisions, not as sudden breakthroughs, but as gentle redirections. The things that once drained you no longer capture your attention. People who pulled you into patterns you've outgrown feel less influential. Situations that once triggered you now feel neutral, as if they have lost their power. And moments that used to make you question yourself now reveal how much inner strength you've been developing. You begin choosing differently, not out of discipline or effort, but out of recognition. Your new identity recognizes what supports your growth and what doesn't. And it nudges you toward what aligns with your evolution. You find yourself walking away from heaviness, not because you're avoiding it, but because you're no longer shaped by it. You find yourself moving toward opportunities that once intimidated you, not with force, but with a natural curiosity. You stop seeking permission and start granting yourself the freedom to expand. You sense a widening inside you, a spaciousness that wasn't there before, as if you've opened a door that had been locked without your awareness. And through that door comes not certainty, but possibility. The possibility of becoming someone who isn't defined by who you were yesterday. The possibility that your future self is already guiding you toward the life you're meant to live.